I was around too, man. I remember. You know what? It wasn't millions that was affected. It was billions, and billions to come that be affected by this man, this wonderful man.
So what I can't even get the words out. What gave you the idea to put this together?
You know, I always had a strong admiration for Nelson Mandela,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And about a year before he got sick, I spoke to my co-writer also, Yolanda Brooks. She's a co-writer also on the play, about doing something on, Nelson Mandela. And then he had just passed. And we said, you know what, let's do a short play, because I do most of the Showtime series for the schools over at Brooklyn College, Queens College, Golden Auditorium, Center for Performing Arts, where the kids come during school time to see performances.
This is where in Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Bronx, a lot of the big theaters.
Okay.
And that's during the school day. And so we started off with just a 15-minute, short show of it, a short play. We were asked by Council Member Melissa Mark-Viverito, the speaker,
Mm-hmm.
to come down to City Hall and see if we could do something for Black History Month. And we brought this play there. And let me tell you, it got rave reviews. And
15 minutes.
Just 15 minutes. Actually, Thompson, who was the controller, William Thompson at the time, he came up to me and he said, "Man, my wife was in tears. This was incredible. It was heartwarming. It was invading. It was wonderful." And we sat down and we said, "You know what? Let's stretch it out. Let's try doing it. A full hour and 15 minutes." We did that, and on his first anniversary of his passing, last December 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we performed it in the Temple at the National Black Theater.
Okay.
And the Temple usually holds about 240 people. We had over 300 every night.
Wow.
Every night, these people, in his first anniversary of his passing. This was just through the local word, through friends and Facebook, social media,
You see, I got some flyers from you. I'm like, hey, let's just get the word out.
Yeah. And it was so well received that the Speaker of the City Council and I sat down with her, Melissa, and we said, you know what, let's do it again. December 18th is Nelson Mandela's birthday.
July 18th.
July 18th. I'm still in December. Look at that. Yeah. I want Christmas over again. July 18th at the National Black Theater. 7:30 is the big night, though it's running from July 10th to the 19th.
Okay.
But on the 18th, being that it's his birthday, Mayor Bill de Blasio and Speaker Melissa Mark-Viverito will be honoring that day throughout the city a proclamation, Nelson Mandela Day.
Wow.
On his 25th anniversary visit to New York. And the man himself, Mayor David Dinkins, who's in that cast, he'll be there that day to perform. And I'll tell you, when I first, I got a chance to direct him, I went over to Columbia University and sat in, myself and Lloyd Goodman, who plays Mandela. Yeah. Got a chance to actually direct him there. It was great, man.
So how did you get David Dinkins to accept this role?
You know what I did? Everybody asked me the same thing. I just called him, man. I said, Dave, would you like to be in this play, Mandela? And he thought about it for like 10 seconds. He said, yes.
10 seconds.
10 seconds is all it took him, yes. Tell me more about it. And I went over to Columbia University and sat with him, and we spoke about it, and came back another time and directed him and told him what he had to do, and it worked out. And when he was at the play, it was wonderful. When I started hearing him talk about the 90s, man, it just
about the 90s.
About the 90s when he first came here and his experience with Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience for him.
Oh, yeah, and that's the time that I lived, too. I was a young man. I was a fireman at that time. Okay. I was a New York City firefighter. I'm retired now.
Okay.
And it made me want those days again. I was like, man, how do we get those days back,
Yeah. So what that whole event of Nelson Mandela coming here, what did that do for David Dinkins' life?
Oh man, it's just
like what did how did he say it affected him?
It's history, man.
As a human being.
As a human being, it affected him because, I guess it made him an entire human being. You know, I mean, we all have experiences in our life that fulfill us, but being with someone from the motherland of Africa, you know, Nelson Mandela, who went through 27 years of never stopping, as you say, with nothing in his hand, what he created, you know, that alone not only inspired David Dinkins, but the whole world. And that's why he brought him here 3 months after being released from prison in South Africa. You know, I mean, that's incredible. Nobody else. David Dinkins did that.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty.
You know, and now he's reliving it again with us, which makes it more of an extension of history in my life.
Yeah, I know he's happy that this has happened. I know he's.
He's happy, but so am I.
Yeah,
you know, I'm ecstatic. My children ecstatic. The people that I know, all of East Harlem, all of Harlem, are reliving this moment again and again and again every night at the National Black Theater.
And for the people that weren't here, get a chance to learn and experience it as well.
And you know, I want David Dinkins to be around for another 100 years. But, you know, right now is the time to catch it because there could only be one 25th anniversary visit.
Right.
And it's this year.
That's right. That's right. Wow. That's amazing. That was a great experience. And people in Harlem really embraced Nelson Mandela when he came.
They did, and they still do. I mean, you know, just on social media, every time we put up the picture, you know, we get a lot of warm sentiments, a lot of warm feelings about it and about the play, and we hope to see everyone out there.
And when you hear this music here, what becomes present for you?
As I know here, you're...
Nope, wrong one. Sorry. There we go. So when you hear a song like that, what becomes present for you?
Say what?
When you hear a song like that, what becomes present for you?
Oh, the whole struggle, man. The whole struggle of Africa, of South Africa, of life in general. Everybody has their own struggles. This was Mandela's struggle, but we all lived through that struggle, personal.
You know, I know it must have been a struggle, but then it must have been a challenge to say, hey, I'm going to play Nelson Mandela. And we have the gentleman here himself, Lloyd Goodman, that's going to actually play Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
What made you accept this role?
Well, to be quite honest, I didn't accept the role at first. John called me. I was asleep. We got on the phone. He said, hey, listen, I want you to play Nelson Mandela. And I thought John was crazy at that point. I said, John, there's no way that I could play Mandela. I mean, that's just to me, something just outside my realm. And he said, well,
and you are an actor?
Yes.
Okay.
So he said, well, I'm still in your script. And he just hung up on me. And so that he did email me the script. It was like a 3-page monologue. And I called him back. I said, well, John, I mean, I really was trying to get out of it. I said, John, I don't really think you should get somebody else. He said, well, look, I booked a show already, so I need you to do it, to learn these lines right away. So I was like, wow. So at that point, I had nowhere to go. And and as an actor, sometimes that's what you face. It's fearful, it's hard, it's difficult. You don't think you can, do a part. But then when you begin the work of breaking things down, researching, that's where everything begins. And slowly but surely, you begin to find your place. And so I'm just very honored that John chose me to play this part. It's a tremendous part. I have so much fun playing it, and it's just such a joy. And to be on stage and to look out and to hear the comments of the people after, to see how much love they have for the man. And I just hope that I do him justice every night. I try to give my all when I'm out there. I know how important he is. I know how important the struggle was, and so I just try to do my best every night.
Wait a minute, man. You playing Nelson Mandela.
No, that's how I feel.
Madiba.
Every night, that's how I feel.
And
like,
and he's
wow.
also an Adelco Award winner.
Right, that's right. Explain to the audience what a Delco Award winner is.
Okay, that's a black awards ceremony that comes out every November, and they award shows in black theater.
Okay.
And I'm urging people to please come out and support Adelco. You can find them online. Please join, and then you can vote for the different black shows.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yes, and we need people to support Adelco. You know, that's really the only black theater award show around that's from us, that we created. So we need people to continue to support that.
We will support it, but you know, a perfect combination is theater and radio. It's a perfect combination.
Yes.
So can you give us a little bit of Mandela's voice, a little small piece?
Okay. We are the original people, born of this nation, but we don't have power. We don't have rights. South Africa is a nation ruled by the gun. So why should we obey their laws? We do not have a vote. We are prisoners on our own land. This is not our government. They are having a party and we are not invited. We must defy their unjust laws.
Wow. Are you actually channeling Nelson Mandela? Are you channeling him? Because I could see your face change.
Yeah.
And I could see the transformation.
Yeah, I mean, usually in my preparation, that's exactly what I try to do is to call those spirits to come through and speak through me, every night that I perform.
So you're not. Did I mention I used to be a boxer, professional boxer? Did I mention that?
No.
No. The reason why I mention that because we have another gentleman in the studio, Clark Pena, who's playing the warden, and I think I might want to go a couple of rounds with him and beat him up, man. You know.
I don't fight fair.
Okay.
He's mean too.
I'm
boy.
mean.
So Clark Pena, what was that experience like playing the warden of this?
I was so excited that John gave me the opportunity, and it's kind of tough to work across Lloyd because I love this guy.
Okay.
But I have to abuse of him throughout the play itself. But it's putting out what really happened. It was a learning experience for me. I knew of Mandela, but I didn't know of everything he went through. And through this role, he went through a lot. And I appreciate the educational opportunity that I got out of this. I also needed the work, so thanks, John.
You're very welcome. You
So,
earned it.
how much research did you have to do to prepare for this role?
Well, I come from background law enforcement, so as far as jails and getting folks to do what you're telling them to do, it kind of like came pretty natural to me. But just the difficulties that these inmates went through during that period of time under my leadership of the rest of the warders, that was tough. They went through a lot.
Yeah.
They went through a lot. I really don't know how they put up with it.
Well, I will see you after the show.
I'll wait for you.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you where.
And Lloyd,
Yes.
what kind of research did you do to prepare for this role?
Well, the first thing I did is I read Nelson Mandela's book, Long Walk to Freedom.
Okay.
And that kind of gave me like a bird's eye view into his world.
Okay.
And one of the things that I learned is that he was so human. He talked about his fear. He talked about the love of his family. He talked about his doubt. Because even in the midst that he was leading so many people, he doubted many times himself. He doubted, what was he doing? Why was he doing what he was doing? So reading that book really gave me really everything that I need to fuel me into what I needed to do. This man shedded the tears. He shed tears. He cried. He was fearful a lot of times. He doubted, but then he also had tremendous courage that even through all of that, he persevered. And so, my job every night is to go out and try to just, show all that, to show that human side of him. That though he was, this strong symbol, he did go through all of these changes, by himself.
Did he understand his greatness, and did he understand his greatness, and did he understand the impact that he had on people?
He never really understood it. Even at towards the end of the book, he said that people had him all the way up here, and he always deferred when people tried to make him big him up. He always deferred it to the people or deferred it to others, and he was very uncomfortable in regards to that. He was very humble, and so many people that was there that were around him, his friends that helped him and encouraged him and counseled him. So he was very careful to take any kind of credit at all,
Yeah. And who go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, one of the best quotes in the book, he said that he learned throughout going through this whole experience. He said he found out that it was better to be a father of a family than the father of a nation.
Wow.
Because he lost his family. He didn't have that connection with many of his kids, but because even before he went to jail, because he was so long in meetings and underground and places, he didn't have time with his family. So that connection with his kids, he lost those things. His son died when he was in jail in a car accident. He didn't get to even, water didn't even let him go pay his respects. His mother died when he was in jail. So there were so many things that he regretted on the other side that hurt him deeply. And you find that out in the book. So that's another thing that really fuels me during the play, is that how much he missed that part, the family part, that cut him deeply into his soul. And that's one of the things he will always regret, that he didn't have that.
Did he have any mentors?
Oh, well, yeah, his best friend, Oliver Tambo, who he always referred to as his mentor. They had a law firm together, and he always referred to him as the smart guy, So, yeah, he was the one who kind of counseled him. But he had many people around him in the circle who would counsel him and encourage him as he continued to move forward.
In his book, did he mention Dr. King or Malcolm X? Did he mention people like that in his book?
Well, yeah, he was aware of the struggle that was happening in America. He talked about it. It was very similar to what the South Africans were going through. But what the South Africans were going through, when you're talking about the whole system of apartheid, which was, oh man, it was horrible. I mean, just every aspect of the African's life was just, oh man, it was just devastated. You had no rights. They moved you into ghettos. You had the lowest levels of food. You had no opportunities. The police constantly harassed you. Any person, even a regular white person, could stop you in the street, ask you who you are. Many people were killed. Many people went missing. It was just terrible for the African there. And so once the white Africans gained political power, like in 1948, and they put those laws in the books, that's when really it was over, because then they controlled everything. They was able to go in and take land by law, So they moved all the Africans who were the majority, they moved them in small sections of ghettos, while the whites who were the minority had the larger sections, and they had control of the good land, and they did all of this, once they got political control. So Africans couldn't vote. Africans couldn't, intermarry. Again, they had the lowest levels of everything. So it was just very, very painful, to read some of the horrors that the Africans went through. Very, very painful. Sometimes I had to put the book down, and it was just like, what kind of human beings could do this to other human beings? But, again, I had to pick it back up and read it, because, I have to inform myself. But it's painful time. But when people like Mandela, who stood up, and there were others who stood up, nameless faces who stood up, who died, who were murdered. It's a painful story to tell, but thank God in the end, that whole system is gone now. And thank God it's gone, because it was really a horrible, horrible thing.
And how did America, there were people here in America that started fighting against
Yes.
Apartheid. Who started that? How did that get going here in this country?
Well,
I know because entertainers stopped traveling over there, entertaining over there. A lot of
Right.
things started happening.
right. But initially, now America had their hand in supporting
Okay.
the apartheid system, as were a lot of other major, European powers. They were supporting, that system. But what began to happen is that little by little, countries just started just galvanizing and supporting, the struggle that was going on in South Africa. They started seeing images that was coming out of South Africa, and people knew that this wasn't right, and they couldn't continue, to do business. People knew that they couldn't continue to support that once it was being shown to the world that was going on over there. So little by little, like you said, artists and people started using their platforms to kind of like help the struggle, and then it started just like a snowball effect all over the world. People started to support Mandela in the struggle. So that's how it started to crumble from the outside. What I mean?
And I wonder how he felt when he began to realize that this was happening, that this was galvanizing.
Right. Now, at first, that was the thing. The guards, they were doing their best for him not to know any of that information. That's why he was controlling the mail. He would get mail like every 6 months, and they would just chop it up. So he really didn't know what was going on. But thankfully, there was a warder who he befriended in jail.
A warden.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they call them warders.
Right. Warders. Right.
WARDER instead of wardens.
Right.
Why they call them warders?
I guess that's because that's that Dutch influence.
Okay.
Belgium Dutch influence.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Okay. Wow.
and his name was Crystal Brand.
Right. They became best friends.
And you see that in the show. We do some special effects with that. How he was getting his mail.
Right.
You're gonna be there.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's get the dates, man. Let's get the dates.
That's
John,
July 10th,
July 10th.
11th, and 12th. Right. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Friday and Saturday show is 7:30. Sunday show is 4:00. So right after you get out of church, come on by. And then also on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. 17th and 18th is Friday and Saturday, 7:30 show. That 19th is the last day of the cast party. That's 4:00. Now the 18th is the special proclamation throughout the city, which is Nelson Mandela Day.
Central Park 5 also.
Also, right, this Friday and Saturday, we'll have Central Park 5 will be there on Friday and Saturday, so we're going to have something special for them. They're receiving the Freedom Flame Award.
Wow. What was the Freedom Flame Award?
It's an award given out to people who make the community a lot better, Raymond Santana, Joseph Salam will be there on Friday.
Raymond Santana. We've been trying to connect for a while, and I don't know what's going on. So we'll see.
He's a good friend of
see him.
mine. I gave
Okay.
him his first job when he came out of prison. I owned a circus, and I brought him into the circus.
Tell him I need to have him here in the seat right here. And then, the others too, Yusef and those guys are
And
great.
Corey
Yeah,
King Wise.
yeah.
He'll be there Saturday.
Okay.
you
I know Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to keep the legacy of Nelson Mandela alive,
Yeah.
And the legacy of strong women that stand behind strong men like this, like Winnie Mandela.
Yeah, she came to the Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she came to the Apollo. Wow, this is pretty awesome. Clark, so what did you walk away with, like, from this experience? How has it affected your life?
It's other than what the public, some of the public members, it's a tough role to play because
Yeah, I know, I can imagine.
I'm a really nice guy, and I have to leave the theater
Yeah, right.
at the end of the show. But
And you have to leave the radio station too.
absolutely. I'm looking for the fire exit.
Yeah.
But what I did learn is, let me tell you something. It's tough to see another man after you treat them so harshly. And to be able to go home after that, it's a tough thing. I'm glad I'm just acting, because it is extremely tough to see what Mandela and his team went through because of the rules at that time and the laws at that time. We have this one warder who worked. I was supervising him. Who was, bringing information to Nelson Mandela, and I jump on him in one part of of the show itself, of the play, and hopefully people come and see it, and they'll walk away with very strong, deep emotions about the whole play.
I think that Nelson Mandela changed lives, but when you come to see this play, your life is going to be changed.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so
I it's funny. I just want to say this. When I did the first part of the show at the National Black Theater, I was trying to get some people to come. You never know the effect that you're going to have to bring an audience in. You're hoping people show up.
Okay.
So the first thing I said, you know what? Personally, I'm going to call the people that don't like me so much. And I said, come to see my play, man. Come to see my play. Tell me if I'm any good. And actually, the haters, they come out and you see them behind the screen. And then I came out and spoke to a couple of them who were major directors. And, and I went up to one particular, I won't say his name, he's a great director, acclaimed. And I said, thanks for coming and supporting the show. He looked at me and said, that shit was great. He said, that was fantastic, phenomenal, man. Excellent. And even running into some political friends of mine, because I'm also a politician in East Harlem.
Okay.
I'm the district leader of the State Assembly in the 68th, and I've been there I was the first fireman in history ever elected to public office. And even some of those political friends and foes came by and said, man, that was excellent.
Well, I need to know why we don't have a boxing gym in Harlem, man. That's crazy. We don't have a boxing gym.
I was
in
trying to
Harlem.
help this brother out about that. He was over on 115th Street.
I know him. I
trying
had
to
him
get
on the show.
access to one of the housing developments there. I think there was a problem with some problem, but I think he's trying to work it out, and hopefully, we can be helpful in him doing that.
He was a guest here.
Yeah, I know you're talking.
I went over there. I was training some cats over there.
I gave him a letter of support. I know his sister very well, Caridad Sanchez.
Right.
Who works with our staff. She actually works
Jose
with us.
Sanchez is his name.
That's right. And but Mandela, he changed lives, and we got to keep that legacy going. We got to keep it alive.
How can we get some guys on the corner to see this, man? How can we do that?
I don't know, man. I'd love the whole world to see this. I'm talking to the Africa Channel right now to see if we can do the Road to Mandela, something like that. We need to keep it going. I think a lot of people don't want us to see this kind of show. How that's another show, man. We can go into that.
He was on Oprah Winfrey's show, and before the show, he was asking me, he said, Oprah, what did the show about? That's my Nelson Mandela. And she bust out laughing like, are you kidding me? It's about you. Like, you don't need a subject when he is the subject.
Right.
Yes.
Wow, great.
He always carried
27.
himself with eloquence and elegance, and when I was choosing the picture, when I went to the National Black Theater and I spoke to Nabi Faison, who's a wonderful man, the first thing he asked me, you got permission to do this? I looked at him like, I said, all right, I'll be right back. So I went home that night because my research starts all day long. I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep. For 2 years I've been working on this research. And I called Greg Bartley, who actually is the owner and the photographer of the picture of Mandela. And he gave me permission, his international agent. And then I contacted the family, and they gave me permission to do the story. So I came back the next day, and with paperwork in my hand, and Nabi was on a ladder. And I said, hey, Nabi, I got permission. He looked at me and said, what? How'd you do that? Like that? And I said, what's my name? He thought about it, and he said, the fireman? I said, close enough.
Oh, man. I grew up with Nabi, man. I don't know if do you know that?
No, I didn't.
I grew up with Nabi, man. My second job was at the National Black Theater.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother story. We're not going to get into that because it's about you guys and what you're doing, and Nelson Mandela. Man, oh man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be special. That's gonna be a birthday present for me because my birthday is the 7th.
Good.
So it's gonna be a birthday. But this is the
which
ultimate.
day you want to come? Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I don't know, man. I got to think about it, man. This is yeah. We'll figure that out.
Call me. Let me know. You and your loved one definitely a guest.
Okay. Cool. Wonderful.
And you'll
Wonderful.
see it for yourself, and you walk out of there even more changed.
All right, I'm excited. So, Clark, any final words that you want to share?
Well, yeah. But let me thank you first of all for giving us
Absolutely.
the opportunity, brother. You know, that just
When
means
I
a
when I
lot.
saw the fly, I said, yeah.
And thank John and thank Lloyd and the other actors and actresses, and thank the National Black Theater, thank New York, and come out and see us. We have a story to tell,
Right.
and I thank
Okay.
you again.
Yeah.
Clark Pena. Pena, right?
Close enough.
Clark
Pena, Pena.
Pena.
We're good, brother. We're good. We're good.
Okay, Clark Pena. Lloyd Goodman, any final words?
Yes, I just want to just say that I'm definitely honored to play this man. One of the most things that I admire about Mandela is that he came through that whole experience and he wasn't bitter at all. And he came out still preaching love and still preaching togetherness, and that's an inspiration to me every day. So I definitely want to thank John for giving me this opportunity, the National Black Theater, and yourself, for allowing us to come on this show. And I'm encouraging everyone who's in the sound of my voice, please come out, see this show, spread the word, tell your friends. It's a phenomenal show.
What I would like to do is for you guys to come back after the show, after it's completed,
Okay.
and talk about the after, because people come on before, but they don't come back and talk about the experience afterwards. I think it's
Sure.
good to share that. I
Sure.
think that'd be wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. To genius, John Ruiz, to put this thing together, man. Pure genius, pure what's in your hand.
Yeah.
Any final words you want to share?
Yes, I'd like to thank Sade Lithcott
From
the National Black Theater for giving
Barbara
us
and Tier's daughter.
Yes,
She's
yes,
amazing.
that legacy, the spirit lives on there at the National Black Theater and in
okay.
all our hearts. And thank her for allowing us to be there. Also, just wishing that everyone within the sound of my voice will come. If you didn't make it there in 1990, you have an opportunity now to make it there in 2015 to see this 25th anniversary. It's almost like being there, like you're time transformed there. And Nelson Mandela, played by Lloyd Goodman, phenomenal. I mean, the spirit.
I know I'm going to be in tears.
It's there. The spirit is there. And there's joy. It's just not all tragedy.
Okay.
There's a lot of joy. There's dancing.
Well,
we
you
have
could- you
dancers
could-
in
you
there. We
could-
got 20 people in that cast.
You could laugh from joy. I mean, you can cry from joy too. Drop tears.
And what is taken for the level of commitment, dedication, and devotion that's necessary to accomplish goals that this man had, that's missing today. Because today's life is interrupted by so many distractions. These young kids out here, they don't know what that is. Old school dedication, devotion, determination. A lot of them don't.
Give me the dates. You have a website? Give me the website.
It's on Facebook as Mandela. They can look on Facebook. Also, Mandela.brownpapertickets.com.
Say it
That's
again.
Mandela.brownpapertickets.com. They can also get the tickets there or call 1-800-838-3006.
And what's the dates again?
July 10th to July 19th.
Okay. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes.
All right. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you, man, for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Appreciate
you,
it.
brother.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
having
you.
me.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York. You're listening to WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
It's WHCR, the voice of Harlem.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Praise Hallelujah, everybody. This is DJ Flame, and I'm your host every Wednesday from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the Anointed Mic Check, where we take beats back for Jesus, bringing you the best in urban gospel music, where you hear hip-hop, R&B, house, remixes, the Caribbean flavor, artist interviews, reviews, and so much more, whatever God just drops in my spirit. Now, I'm your host every Wednesday mornings from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Don't forget, the show is the Anointed Mic Check, and this is where we serve up urban gospel at its best.
Sit back,
see you then.
relax, and enjoy my favorite tunes on WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Hey, this is Joseph Hayes inviting you to tune into Another Perspective every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. Another Perspective is a community affairs show that brings you information, news, solutions, and entertainment, all from another perspective. That's Another Perspective with your hosts Henry Portia, Reggie Mitchell, and yours truly, Joseph Hayes. That's every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem.
I found out on my way to Harlem.
It's only one person that can think of make me feel like this. something more. Don't want the middle or the one before. I don't desire a complicated past. I want love that will last. Say that you love me, say I'm the one. Don't kiss and hug me and then try to run. I don't do drama, my tears don't fall fast. I want love that will last. I don't want just a memory, give me forever. Don't even think about saying goodbye, 'cause I just want one love to be enough and remain in my heart till I die. So call me romantic, I guess that's so. There's something more that you ought to know. I never leave you, so don't even ask. I want love that will last forever. I want love that will last. I don't want just a memory, give me forever. Don't even think about saying goodbye, 'cause I just want one love to be enough and remain in my heart till I die. So there's just a little more that I need. More that I need. I wanna share all the air that you breathe. I'm not the kind of girl to complicate the past. I want love that will last forever. I want love that will last always. I just want love that will last. I want a love that will last.
All my favorite tunes.
Daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. 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 Look at my mind floating away. He's the kind of guy that will say, hey baby, let's get away, let's go somewhere hot where I don't care. He's the kind of guy that will give you everything, your trust, your heart, share all of your love till death do you part. I wanna be what he wants when he wants it and whenever he needs it. When he's lonesome and feeling love starved, I'll be there to feed him, loving him a little bit more each day. Turns me right on when I hear him say, hey baby, let's get away, let's go somewhere hot. Baby, can we where I don't care? I love to hear him say, hey baby, let's get away, let's go lose the feeling of style. I'll be there to please him. Loving him a little bit more each day turns me right on when I hear him say, hey baby, let's get away, let's go somewhere hot. Baby, can we? Where I don't care. I love to hear him say, hey baby, let's get away, let's go somewhere hot.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Welcome to What's Going On. I'm your girl, Steph. I love sports. I love talking about everything from knockouts to big shots to Game 7 and game-changing plays. You need heart to win. That's right, heart. You'll think twice about everything you hear or see after my tape. Why? Because I'm changing the game. What's going on? I'll tell you. Sundays, 3 p.m. to 4:30 on WHCR 90.3 FM, New York. Did you have a good 4th? Okay, let me brag a little bit. I'm sorry. So sorry if you didn't, but I did. Oh man, it couldn't have been better. Really. I just got back into town. Came directly here to be with you, just like I said I would. And like I wanted to. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you or stand here and tell you that I didn't have a good time. I had a great 4th of July holiday. Great. My trip home, it was just so sweet. So sweet. I saw my nieces and nephews, the older ones, and the younger ones. Saw my mom, of course, my sister, my aunt, a couple of aunts and cousins, but it's those nieces and nephews that do it. Not to mention, everything about the trip went really well. And I was long overdue. I have not been home in 7 months since Christmas. Now, mind you, I have a big enough life here in New York that includes all of you and some other folks. But got to a point where I said, I need to go. And I know I need to go. So let me go. Let me just do this and get it out of the way. And so I did. Bus ride was nice. I was able to ride standby because, I don't know when I'm leaving, right? So I don't buy a ticket in advance. Got there within 3 hours, about 3 hours and 15 minutes. Then we all went out to dinner. Friday early evening, which was, just brought back so many memories. Very heartwarming. Went to a buffet. And my sister goes every Saturday. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm finally here. I'm at the buffet. But it was just a good trip.
And, you know, it was going to be such a quick trip that I wasn't sure who I'd see. So I texted a couple of family members and said, hey, I'm going to be home, but it's quick. So if I don't get a chance to see you, have a great 4th. And then we just let it play out the way it played out. It was a good trip, I'm telling you. And the icing on the cake was I made the 8 o'clock bus this morning. He had 2 seats left for walk-ons, myself and another girl. And got back into the NYC in more than enough time on this beautiful and apparently hot Sunday afternoon, especially after the rain yesterday, right? And had a nice ride back up to the NYC. I was about to say back uptown. Wow. I had a good time. So I'm just here to say, you know, I'm putting it out there. I'm bragging. I'm being a little braggadocious. I had a great 4th of July. And you know, as I was saying before I left, it's not about how much time that I had to spend with my family. While the computer is buffering, it was more about the fact that I was going home. And I was okay with that because, like I said, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you're okay with something similar. Because, you know, when you plan a big event, trip, outing, you know, anything big sometimes when you put so much into it, no, I've got to be there for X amount of time and I've got to do it this way and I've got to do that way, it can backfire or not work out the way you wish it would, hoped it would, planned it. But I was just like, it's not about how much time I'm going to be in Baltimore. It's the fact that I'm going to Baltimore. And so I went Friday morning and came back this morning. And if you can relate to that, which I think maybe enough of you can, even if it's just one of you, then you totally get where I'm coming from, right? So it's all good. And the rain didn't stop anything. And I know New York City. I know the rain didn't stop anything here. If it did make its way up here, because we watched the fireworks last night on television, as well as from my mom's porch. The local ones in Baltimore, and then what was going on here in New York. It was beautiful. It was like postcard-like. So, yeah, it was really nice to bounce down there for real quick and make my way back and not feel overwhelmed and tired and, you know, beat. None of that. And yeah, I know, man, everybody's going to be watching the U.S. play Japan tonight at 7. Right? Probably the pre-show is starting about 5. I get that. If you're not already watching the Yankees possibly lose today to Tampa Bay and not sweep them, but they will win the series. Or if you're not planning to watch, or if you are planning to watch the Mets at 4 o'clock there in LA. They're got a 1-1 series out there between the Dodgers and the Mets. Or you might be watching Tiger or anticipating the Venus and Serena matchup tomorrow, which will be played at 7 a.m. our time because England is 6 hours ahead of us. And I believe They are the first match on center court. Check your local listings to be absolutely sure. They've got 3 big matches on center court tomorrow. Roger Federer and someone else. And I can't remember that other men's match, and then Venus and Serena. But the way they have them listed, it looks like Venus and Serena will play first. What a treat. What a hair-pulling moment. You know, you just sit there and pull your hair out watching that match. For real. Oh, the world of sports is loaded right about now. Usually is. Misty Copeland, the first black girl. That's how we like to say it, for real, you know. I just know you want to put it that way. To be the principal dancer in the American Ballet Company. American Ballet Theater. You can see him up at Lincoln Center. I'm going. And I wish I would have caught that promotional door, because I would have hopefully gotten a chance to ask her a question or two. I saw our very own New York Amsterdam News got a chance to catch it. It's their article that made me aware that there was a promotional tour. And the most recent issue comes out every Thursday. What is this? July 2nd through July 8th. She's on the cover. Yep. She's on the cover. Misty Copeland. And of course, free agency. Oh my God. Let me say this. And I did ask my brother we had a crazy conversation in the basement yesterday, and that's where all this started for me when I was a teeny weeny girl. Little itty bitty thing in the basement. Well, before the basement, we were in the projects. But sports stories being born right there at the house. And yesterday was just a continuation of what we've done since I was a little girl, even though I didn't know who they were talking about at the time. I would just sit around them and they would scream and shout and get excited, have these real heated discussions and passionate conversations. Never any fighting or anything like that. You know that. But just, making their point, right? Then I got old enough to know what that was all about, what was going on. It's like, okay, it took some time. So yesterday we were sitting there, we're talking. And it's my nephew now. Because, see, the kids get grandfathered in. These are my brother's kids. My sister and I don't have any kids. And so they get grandfathered in. So it was all about free agency and some football and some Tiger Woods and Venus and Serena. And I was like, you gonna call the show tomorrow? I said, it's basically the same conversation we're having right now. Or at least some of it. And so we'll see if I can't catch up with him in a minute. Yes, you could also be anticipating, without me getting too far ahead, the baseball All-Star game, which is the 14th of July out in Cincinnati. You heard the Negro League Museum president, Bob Kendrick, talk about how they would be out there. So if you're going to be out there, they have an exhibit and they're going to be doing some stuff. You can check them out if you can't make it to Kansas City. If you don't do that, and you don't get to Vegas for Summer League, or you don't get to Baruch over on 23rd and what street is that? Or 24th and Lex or Park, or one of them. It's not Park, probably Lex. For some street ball, which I'm quite sure a number of NBA players will be playing in. Then maybe you might want to go up to Mohegan Sun for the WNBA All-Star Game. I'm quite sure several of New York's Liberty will be on the court if you vote them in. I think you still have some time. I think voting goes on for at least another week or so. maybe. Yeah, easily. I don't even think it starts until July 9th. But anyway, look at those dates. You can go to Liberty's website. Something about July 9th. So either starts July 9th or it closes July 9th. The voting process. So whatever you're anticipating, or I got an article in front of me that talks about the NFL, man. Look, we just got going with summer, right? So, I ain't trying to see nothing NFL related, but somebody's thoughts and opinions here and there, right? So that's me hearing it. That's not even me seeing it. But I do have an article in front of me. I picked up a paper on my way here. The bus stopped at a spot on the turnpike in New Jersey, and of course I got this of course you guys, of course y'all, I got the sports section, and got a story here in front of me I may get to. We'll hold on to it. NFL rookies get fair warning. I think they want them to know already. Personal conduct. That's what it's about. The new conduct policy is focus at symposium. But what I love the most is an article that I came across, right? As I'm reading through the sports section, I got back on the bus, and of course I'm going through the papers. I'm going, this is what you're going in there with. This is it. Along with whatever you guys want to talk about. 212-650-6903. Whatever else you want to throw into the conversation. Even if you want it to be something stupid like what Donald Trump had to say, because they took that pageant away from him and some other stuff. NASCAR has backed out because one of their sponsors backed out. I think they used one of his hotels as a venue for an awards ceremony of some kind. NASCAR did down in Miami, so they lost that. But I know the question is, how much does that really hurt him, right? He's just going to be who he is, like they say. Sometimes people are just going to be who they are. You ever heard the expression about pigeons? I'm not repeating it, but you got to ask somebody. But anyway, here's what I love. And I said, open the show with this. But when I came in, I went with whatever came up. It was just that simple and just that natural. I know what I'm doing. Don't try me. I was like, what? What? Wait a minute. That's Tiger and Serena combined. You can't, man, what? In the article, because Tiger Woods hasn't been playing as well, so he's trying a new stroke, a new swing, and he tells the reporters and the press and all of us and all of you out there that I know what I'm doing out here on the golf course, said Woods. I know what it feels like. I know where my game is and what progress I have or haven't made. That's what I'm concerned about. And then he goes on to talk about some of the other folks that are in his corner and how they know what's going on and what the baseline. What does it say? What is it about the baseline, Tiger? What's going on and what the baseline has shifted. and where things are currently and where we need to get to in the future. Right? So you know what he basically is telling you, shut up. Hush now. With all that rhetoric, all that noise, hush now. And then, you know, what did the article say last week? You don't have to like her, but you definitely respect her by now, whether you even realize it. You see me waving my finger, right? For all of those of you that are streaming online, thank you, by the way, for joining in. Serena Williams got booed, and it comes with the territory, but you know, she's pretty feisty, pretty fiery, and you know, it goes with the territory pretty nicely. Then sometimes, you know, we can all do over-the-top things, so let's just stay in the middle where we have balance, meaning we're not going to talk about we're going to talk about the waving of the finger yesterday, which could have led to an over-the-top moment. Okay, so anyway, Serena was playing one of a Great Britain player. And apparently Serena won the first set. The young lady won the second set. And of course, you know, to get in your head, throw you off your game, and hopefully lead to you losing, people start to boo and say all sorts of not so nice things. And, you know, they tried that with her, and if you saw it over and over again, and you read lips very well, she said, "Don't try me." I said, well, you know, gave her motivation, obviously, and she beat the girl, and but those two combined gave me a nice little chuckle. I know what I'm doing. Don't try me. 212-650-6903. As always, this conversation is just as much a part of yours as it is mine. What else we got here? Oh yeah, you probably heard Becky Hammon is the first women's summer league coach. You know, she is a part of the Spurs regular coaching staff. She's an assistant coach, and she used to play in the WNBA. And then of course, they gave her hi, caller, welcome to the show. You are?
Yeah, Steph, is Jay right quick. Listen, your Knicks, I know you was talking with your brother and your nephew about these sorry bunch of losers. Have the nerve to go out there and sign free agents that are not going to help the team at all. All I want to know is one thing that nobody will answer. Who's going to score the ball other than Carmelo? Who's the secondary scorer on that team? Who's going to be able to get an extra 15 points out of these group of losers that they have? I mean, it is absolutely a disgrace that people have so much love and respect for this Phil Jackson and about how he's going to bring New York a championship and things of this nature. The man is an absolutely out-of-date winner who basically don't know what's going on with the modern basketball landscape. It's an absolute disgrace. You sign 4 players, and they're not going to do anything. They're just glorified role players. You give Lopez that type of money, then you give this guy Quinn that type of money, you give Williams that type of money, and a Frollo, and you think that you're going to be able to use a triangle offense, and the Knicks are now going to be a playoff team. I make the prediction. Let me get a prediction already. 30-52 at best. 30 and 52 at best. They'll be lucky if they win 30 games. And on top of that, they don't have their first-round pick next year, which will be another lottery pick. This is a disgrace. $12 million you giving this man to do what? What is he bringing in? A culture? Culture does not win basketball games. Talent wins basketball games. Culture does not. If you look at San Antonio Spurs, they have a culture, but they have talent. You look at any other team that supposedly has a culture, but they have talent. The Knicks have no talent other than Carmelo Anthony, and then that's starting to be questioned because he's breaking down. This is an utter disgrace. It's a disgrace. And nobody's saying anything because they believe in this guy because he's won 11 championships. Grant him, he deserves that kind of respect. But the point of the matter is you must produce and you must be able to attract talent. And nobody wants to come to New York. Greg Monroe would rather go to Milwaukee than to come to New York. Who ever heard of that? Who ever heard of something like that? Why? Because they have talent. They have talent. That's why he went to Milwaukee. They have talent. They have like 5 players on their team that are better than all of the players on the Knicks, other than Carmelo. But nobody wants to be honest and talk about this. And the kid that they drafted, come on, man. He's at least 2 or 3 years away. And on top of that, what Derek Fisher did to Tim Hardaway Jr. last year, imagine him doing it to this kid. Because this kid is going to have some of the same problems that Tim had last year. Lack of defense and inefficient offense on a consistent basis. So you're going to treat him in the same way that you treated Hardaway, and then you're going to talk about he's going to bring something out of Derek Williams? Oh, this is crazy. But nobody's being honest about it. Nobody's being honest about it and saying that this is a disaster. It's beyond a disaster. It's a disgrace.
Okay, so why do you think nobody's being honest about it? Why are they missing the point?
Because, sometimes you just can't speak the truth because it causes problems and issues. And this, I think, is one of those occasions.
So you don't think that that Phil deserves at least this year to see what he can do with what he puts together before you just count him out? Or you're just saying, no, you ain't got to look that far?
You don't have to look that far. Look at what he's doing. He's talking about bringing, number one, an offense that most players don't want to play. And number two, he's talking about a culture. But like I've said, all of these things have to be surrounded by talent. You know what I mean? You have to have talent in order to bring out the best in those things. If you don't have talent, you can never get players to act in a certain cultural way because of the simple fact that they're not winning. So they're going to revert and act in a certain manner. But, hey, that's what the deal is. That's really what the deal is.
So at the end of year 2, let me ask you: do you get rid of Phil and the coach if they still don't make the playoffs?
You can't get rid of Phil because of the simple fact that people misguidingly have bought into it. So you're not gonna now all of a sudden say, well, after year 2 we gonna get rid of it. Then it causes a problem.
But if the city doesn't tolerate it, if people get pissed off enough, you don't think that he'll get rid of them? You can tell Jay's at work, right? He's multitasking, but I take it. He can call in while he's at work. No big deal. No problem. And he made some great points. Sure did. But I'll go back to what I said last week. Realistically speaking, what other choices do we have? What else is out there? Give me another solution. This is not just all of a sudden something brand new that just popped up. The problems of our lovely Knicks. No one seems to care about the Nets, so it's all about the Knicks, right? You care, but then it's a city where the Knicks just get all the attention. You got kids, you know exactly what I mean. And if you're a kid, you know exactly what I mean. This is WHCR 90.3 FM New York, the voice of Harlem. Have you been on the other end of the spectrum? You were the one that didn't get enough attention. You watched other people get it, whether it be in the family or at work or amongst your peers. So then you know kind of what that's like, right? I mean, the Nets are just as important. And I think they have Brooke Lopez, right? The Knicks got Robin. If nothing else, it'll have you pick up the newspaper a little more often and check maybe the back pages. Maybe. Because they'll try to create a rivalry between the two twin brothers, or the two twin towers. One's really hard and the other one's not quite tough enough. I mean, Brooke Lopez is a gentleman, but he could stand to be a little tougher. He's offensive. He's just not defensive-minded enough. Could stand to be a lot more physical down in that hole and then all over the court. So many other places. But, it's about the Knicks. And that's just the way the ball bounces. The hockey team is coming to Brooklyn. You got the Jets, you got the Giants, right? You got just like same thing with the Giants seem to be the ones who get all the attention. Although the city of New York has oh my God, the Jets fans here in New York there's enough of them, and boy, oh boy, do they love them. But it's still a Giants town. Yankees and Mets are the same way. The Yankees may never win another World Series. So it might be another 5 years before you see that. But it's still not going to be a city where the Mets, will get more love than the Yankees. It's just kind of the way it goes, y'all. But Jay dead on for a moment there, Dead on. The reality of it, again, what are you really working with? My nephew and I were talking yesterday on a more personal note. And, sometimes you just have to realize what you're working with and stop dreaming and hoping and fantasizing and, hope and pray that denial, that, you can find your way out of the denial just a little bit. Although I still have in the back of my mind that cat that came into the store last week and said when people are spending money, they want results and they want them, immediately. It's kind of like being in a situation where, you caught between it's an expression. But in other words, there is whatever decision you make, right? If you heard Jay just now, and I listen to people talk all the time about the Knicks and, it's a serious city when it comes to these Knicks and Yankees.